So, um, today was interesting. It was a little bit frustrating for me for different reasons, but I want to do something fun right now and something that I've been wanting to do for a minute, which is a Reddit review. Because sometimes, like every once in a while, I get on Reddit. And when I was younger, I used to watch a lot of like YouTube videos where people were reviewing Reddit posts. And so now I want to do it because it's actually really interesting and always find something that like either makes me so angry, like insanely mad, or is just so freaking funny and weird that I just can't comprehend how this stuff even happened. So I have chosen four for today. Four good choices, I think, from what I read. And so we finna get started. We finna get started. Okay. So how we're gonna start off, how I think I would like to do this is I will kind of guess just by reading the title whether I think the OP is an a hole or not. So this first one that we're gonna do is, am I the a hole for asking a woman at work to stop being so weird about taking a caramel? It sounds a little goofy, but I think that there might be a valid reason for this. Because I mean, maybe I don't know. Like, what do you guys think? Like, maybe like weird about taking a caramel. Because at first I was gonna be like, oh, like maybe she eats it weird, and so that's why OP is kind of like bothered. But we'll see. Okay, let's just read it. But I feel like just off the top of my head, I think OP might be valid in this because it's dealing with food and somebody being weird about food. All right, let's begin. I like to have snacks in my office, and I enjoy having something for people to take when they come in for a visit. That's nice. I have a container of chocolate caramel thins open for anyone to take. The problem is that when many of the other women in my office take one, they do this whole song and dance. Oh, I shouldn't. I can't read this, like, blah. Okay. Ooh, I shouldn't. Ooh, it's so bad. Ooh, but I just love chocolate. Ooh, it's so naughty. Oh, that's gross. That rubs me weird. Okay, stuff like this just annoys the crap out of me. Take a candy or don't, but don't force me to participate in whatever weird, self deprecating thing you're doing, especially calling it naughty like you're scolding a child. I always just smile blankly and they will look at me like I'm supposed to give them permission. I finally had it yesterday when one of the women stood in my doorway and pointed and was like, ooh, I love those caramels. They're so good. But ugh, I shouldn't. You're so bad for having these. I said, can you stop doing that? It's making me uncomfortable. Which is valid. I mean, that is very uncomfortable. She pretended to not know what I was talking about. I said, are you okay? You come in here and you act like you need my permission to eat a piece of candy. Sorry, this is funny. You keep calling it naughty like you're a little kid. It's super weird behavior and makes me feel uncomfortable, so please stop. She gave me a weird look and said she was just being silly, and never mind. She left. I found out later on that she said I ripped her head off and warned one of the other women who's always doing all of that ooh, I'm so bad crap to avoid getting candy from me unless she wants to be scolded. I'm not going to stop having candy out because there are some people who can do it without the whole song and dance. But am I really the a-hole for just asking her to stop doing that oh I'm so bad ooh crap? Okay, I am clearly the a-hole. I will take the caramels home with me today so I don't have to put up with this gross, self-deprecating humor thing anymore. I thought I was doing a nice thing, but I can't deal with the drama from the people with body image issues. I don't think it's fair they bring that into my office, so I'll just take them home. Okay, here's the thing. I don't necessarily believe that OP is the a-hole. Speaking from experience, dealing with people who okay, we're going to have to start with the root of the issue here. At the end of the day, a lot of these women are they have this concept that at the root it's fat phobia. Like that's it. It's a fear of being undesirable. And I know some people might be like, "Oh, you're taking it too deep." At the end of the day, the average woman who is uncomfortable with eating food is uncomfortable eating food because of how she has been antagonized and constantly ridiculed about her image, about her body weight, about just everything. A lot of women feel shame about eating because they have been scolded, they have been taught that they are not supposed to ingest food like a regular human being because gaining weight is what makes them ugly or undesirable. And in the society that we live in, that, uplifts women being objects more than human beings, if you are undesirable as an object, it's kind of like, oh, you become worthless. So I've actually dealt with people responding that way before. I myself have dealt with being shamed for eating food as a human being, just like even like as a child, being antagonized by adults and family members. Oh, you're eating too much, or you're gluttonous, you're fat, this, that, and the other. Like, I've dealt with that before, and it sounds like a lot of these women are kind of just walking around with this belief, whether they're aware of how incredibly horrible it is or not, that eating food, enjoying sweet things, enjoying sugar and stuff like that is bad. Like, it's a bad thing. So you do have a lot of women who respond that way, who are going to approach the situation to where they're like, oh, I've done like a super bad thing. Me enjoying a meal is freaking horrible. Like, I am committing a crime. It's so it's so deeply woven into our experience as women, how often our bodies are the topic of conversation, especially in this current political climate. Like, it's a conversation to be had. I mean, it seems like, from what I can tell, just from reading this, a lot of those women, because OP said that it's more than one individual. Okay, this is a situation that you can kind of see that this is a belief system that a large group of people have. Now, is OP the a-hole for feeling uncomfortable? No. I've sat and had women have conversations with me and make statements very similar to these, where, they're offered food, or I've offered them something, and they're like, oh, I couldn't, like, that's bad. I've even been kind of like antagonized for offering food and sweet treats to other women because of this same concept. And no, OP is not the a-hole for getting frustrated with that. Now, one could argue that, oh, they could have said it nicer. I don't know if they could have said it nicer, because it's like, at the end of the day, there's a level of like more than secondhand embarrassment. Like, it feels deeply uncomfortable to be the person witnessing a woman having that type of experience, where she's being self-deprecating in that moment and kind of being like, oh, like, me wanting something normal that is made to be eaten is horrible and I shouldn't have this desire to have it. It does get uncomfortable. It does get frustrating. It gets frustrating to the point to where you kind of look at them and you're like, chick, is you okay? Like, is you cool? Like, you need to kind of wake up a little bit, because yes, we are born into a society that, puts these ideas into our head and constantly, you know, yes, we live in a society that is constantly trying to get us to believe that our image and our desirability is the most important thing about us. But at the end of the day, we are responsible for making a decision to not believe that rhetoric anymore. Like, you have to decide. And a lot of women don't decide. That's a huge topic. That's a topic that leads to women who are male-centered, that leads to the patriarchy, that leads to all of these ideas around womanhood and how we're supposed to engage in society. Big thing. I don't believe that OP is the a-hole. I'm surprised that they were able to kind of like hold out as long as they did in that way without kind of snapping. Because I've gotten aggressive with a couple of women before, and I'm like, don't do that. That's like really uncomfortable for me. And I've gotten a similar response where it's like, that was really rude. Like, you just kind of snapped out. And it's like, at the end of the day, what you're doing is not cool. It's very inappropriate. And it just makes me feel weird. I understand if that's something that you are choosing to do, but babes, like, I don't think you don't have to do that. And if you, like, don't bring that here. I do understand why OP was like, don't bring that to my studio, my office. Take that on. OP is not the a-hole on that one. Yeah. We're probably going to have to talk about that at one point. Just like, yeah. Because I have so many different thoughts just in general on the way that women are perceived. specifically in relation to our bodies and just like how different things are believed about us, like our how different levels of our hygiene is used, just everything, like our weight, our eating habits, whether we wear makeup, whether we don't wear makeup. For example, like I'm not wearing makeup now. And before I started this video, like in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, gosh, should I wear makeup? Because in my mind, I've been taught that wearing makeup is how you become presentable. But it's like, I do understand that I am presentable as I am. I know that. But at the same time, I've grown up in a society that has conditioned me to believe that I have to be made up to be presentable. Now I have to make the decision to go against that. So that's a little something to think about. Next one. Am I the a-hole for refusing to pay rent to my parents since moving back home? Let's guesstimate. Refusing to pay rent to my parents since moving back home. Okay. Is OP like, did you move back on purpose? Like, was that a choice that you personally made? Did you have to make it due to financial reasons? Like what? I'm gonna kind of jump the gun and say no, because I feel like this is gonna be some BS. I feel like it's gonna be some BS on the parents' part, but I don't know. I may just be biased. I, 23, female, had moved back in with my family after graduating university last summer. During school, my parents would help me out with rent and groceries if I really needed it, but for the most part, I would work and save money during summer break, reading week, and holidays. Okay. As for tuition, I was grateful to be offered a grant that covers most of it, but I had made a deal with my parents to have them cover the rest. I started working my first job as soon as I turned 15, and the deal was that I would give my parents 80% of the money I earned from each of my paychecks in exchange for them promising to help me out with tuition when I get to university. They held on to their promise, and I am extremely grateful for that. That's good that they held on to that promise. Recently, however, my parents are claiming that my brother and I need to start contributing financially if we are going to continue living in their house. My brother is older than me, 26 years old, and is absolutely terrible with money. He owes me a total of $4,000 and owes my dad a few thousand as well. I believe my parents are just upset at my brother, and I am collateral damage, as usual. I made it very clear to my parents that if they truly want me to start paying them rent, that I am willing to do so only after I turn 26, if I am still even living with them at that point, and only after they charge my brother rent up until the point where I turn his age. Since my brother is 3 years older than me, I told my parents that he basically got to live at home rent-free for 3 extra years, which is unfair to me, which is true. My parents responded saying that if they are going to start charging rent, it is only fair that this new rule applies to everyone. Am I the a-hole? Okay, some further context. I have mentioned to my parents that if they will start charging rent, that I would prefer to live elsewhere where I'd be paying anyways, but they are extremely traditional and against that idea. They allow for me to move out for school, but they said their culture is against women moving out of their family homes until they get married. I also contribute to the household groceries, which my brother never does, as well as the cleaning every single day, something he also doesn't do. I also contribute to gas money as well, all while my mom still packs my brother's lunches for him for work and cooks him his breakfasts and dinners. OP is not the asshole. I said that. I meant that. OP is not the a-hole. No. This is not. Don't play games with me. Okay, so this pissed me off a little bit for several reasons. But reason number one, the parents said that they want people to contribute financially. Okay, cool. Contributing financially is not just paying rent. Contributing financially is paying for household items. It's paying for gas money. Sometimes it's paying certain bills, whatever the house may need. That's all of that. All of that. That is considered contributing financially as a concept. The idea that they want her to pay rent. Okay, if she's going to be paying you rent, I do agree with her from the point of being like, well, if I'm going to pay anyway, I might as well pay from somewhere else, not in this household. Because everybody knows if you're not paying rent money when you're living with your parents, you still paying with your mental health. So why would she be paying with double? She's paying double if she's going to be paying rent. I don't understand that. But the concept of like expecting her to start contributing financially by living in the house that they are They want her to stay in because of their tradition, because of their beliefs and their culture. It's a little weird for you to expect her to pay rent while also saying that it would be against your culture for her to leave. I'm kind of frustrated for OP. OP is a year older than me. And girl, I don't know what the hell you're going through. First off, I do not believe that it's a crazy request for her to say, hey, you know, he had 3 years of not paying. You guys are kind of beefed up with him because he owes you money. Fine. But it's like not fair for you to expect me to start paying now just because you want him to pay now and he got 3 extra years. I do believe that it would be fair for them to allow her 3 more years of unpaid rent. Why not? For one thing, that's just basic. Now let's factor in the other information. For one thing, she's already technically contributing to the household in other areas. She may not be paying rent, but she's paying for gas money. She's paying for groceries. She may even be chipping in on other bills. I'm not sure. And she's also taking care of the household, which is a job in and of itself, which is unpaid right now. So she's already technically contributing to the household. It's kind of weird to be like, oh, well, you need to contribute financially more, meaning you need to pay rent as if she is a tenant. Mind you, let's go to the other section of this where they're telling her, she rightfully says, okay, well, if I'm going to have to pay rent, I might as well move out. Go to a place where I can have some peace of mind in my own space and pay my own bills there. And they're like, oh, no, that ain't going to do because in our culture and our tradition, the women stay home with the family until they're married. Bet. So you want her to be in the household, cannot leave until she is married, but you're trying to charge her rent in a house that she's already financially contributing in. OP is not the a-hole. Not even a little bit. It's not, come on now. Come hither, friend. This doesn't even make sense to me. There's a lot to be said about this. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that it seems like OP is suffering because of whatever decisions her brother has made, and the parents are just making decisions based off of their experience with him, but really not technically holding him accountable. Because at the end of the day, you're going to have to adjust your rules based off of the behavior of the child, correct? Now, these are 2 adults. These are adult children now. One of them is more responsible than the other. So I don't understand why they're kind of attempting to keep her in this little box where she has to do more work and get less of a reward. Because that's really what's going on. And we know why it's happening. We know why it's happening. But it's just really frustrating to me to kind of see the difference in treatment just because she's a girl and there's more expectation for her. The part where it was like, oh, like I've been working since I was 15 and I had to hand over 80% of my checks. And she was like, oh, like I'm grateful that they held up their end of the bargain. We can be grateful, but I do feel kind of weird about that. I do feel a little weird about that. I feel weird about when adults take big chunks of their children's money, even if it's supposed to be for them. Because it's like, if she would have said 50, I'd have been like, okay, cool. But 80 is a little interesting to me. Now, I don't want to be talking about my own opinions about everything, but I'm just saying personally, that sits a little weird with me. OP is not the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for refusing to eat my wife's spaghetti after I found out what she put in it? Okay, I'm going to jump off and say no, because if you don't want to eat something because of what's in it, that is entirely your preference. And it's kind of weird for people to take that personally because it has to do with your preference. It has to do with what you do and don't like. So I don't believe OP is the a-hole on this one. Okay, let's read. Last night, my wife made spaghetti and it smelled amazing. She said she tried something new and wanted me to just eat it before asking questions. Never trust that. Never trust that. If anyone ever offers you food and they say, you say, well, what's in it? And they're like, oh, don't worry about it. Just taste it. Absolutely not. Don't you put that fork in your mouth. Don't do that. Something's wrong with it. I promise you. Like, don't do it. Even if you trust people, I promise you do not do that. Like, I done heard too many bad stories about that. Please don't do it. I heard this story about this girl who, she went over to her boyfriend's house. And this she's vegetarian, right? She's vegetarian. She does not eat meat, okay? So, she hadn't eaten meat for a long time. I think since she was like 13. It was a long time. or maybe it was 13 years. I can't remember, but I think they were down in the basement, and he comes down and he was like, he tells her, oh, like my mom made spaghetti, and she's like, okay, well I'm gonna go, like I don't eat spaghetti, and he was like, oh no, she made some special for you without any meat. She's like, oh okay, and he comes down with a forks full of the spaghetti and shoves it in her mouth, makes her chew it and eat, and he's like, oh, like how is it good? And she was like, oh, he's looking at me really scarily, right? Like he was looking at her really intense, and she's eating it, and she's like, okay, yeah, and he was like, well, it had meat in it. And then she said that she broke down crying because he had broken like a really long time of her not eating meat. And whenever I think about that, I get so aggravated because when I was a kid, that happened to me a couple of times. Now, I was never vegetarian, but I had knew what I didn't like, and I had told people what I didn't like, and they had tricked me into eating several different things while also antagonizing me for eating too much food. We're not even going to get into that. But that right there is such a big pet peeve of mine. I do not play about that shit. I do not like it. If anyone ever tries to like jump the gun and have you eat some food that you don't want to eat, you don't know what's in it, that person is not to be trusted. People like that will straight up poison you. I'm not even kidding. For real. I went on a rant for a second, but that is a huge problem for me. I do not like that. As soon as I find out that an individual is that type of person, I don't get down with you anymore. I do not trust you. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Moving on. Let's get back to this. She says she tried something new and wanted me to just eat it before asking questions. I had a few bites and it tasted kind of off, but not terrible. Girl, just weirdly sweet and earthy. I asked what she changed, and she told me she blended up leftover spaghetti from 6 days ago and mixed it into the sauce to thicken it. I immediately stopped eating. I know it is technically the same ingredients, but the idea of blended old noodles mixed into fresh sauce made me feel sick. She got offended and said I already ate half a plate, so clearly it was fine, and I was just being dramatic now that I knew. I told her that is exactly the point. I did not know. If I had known beforehand, I would not have eaten it. She said I was being wasteful and disrespectful and acting like she served me garbage. I ended up making a sandwich because I could not finish it, and she got really upset and barely talked to me the rest of the night. Now she told her family, and they think I embarrassed her, but my mom thinks it is gross and I should not have been tricked into eating it. I feel bad for hurting her feelings, but also I feel like I should get a say in what I am eating. Am I the a-hole? I was right. OP is not the a-hole. Blending up 6-day-old spaghetti to put into fresh sauce to thicken it. You ain't never heard of cornstarch? Flour? None of that? Hold on, because I'm like, no, the noodles are rubbery. 6 days. Hold on. Lord have mercy. 6 days. Cooked spaghetti is generally safe in the fridge for 3 to 5 days when stored in an airtight container. Plain pasta may last slightly longer, while pasta with sauce, particularly meat or seafood sauces, should be consumed within 2 to 3 days for best quality and safety. Now let's go back to this. She blended up leftover spaghetti from 6 days ago and mixed it into the sauce to thicken it. Now, did she just blend up the noodles, or did she blend up the noodles with the sauce to mix into the sauce? Because first off, both of those are bad. 6-day-old. 6-day-old. And I don't believe that OP is explaining it like, oh, it tasted kind of off, but not terrible, as if in hindsight he's like, well, yeah, it did taste off. No, I believe that it really did taste off when he ate it. He was like, okay, it tastes a little different. She said that she did something different with it, so it should be fine. 6-day-old pasta, people. You're running the risk of making someone sick. It's really that serious. It really is that serious, because at the same time, you have to think about the logistics of how the refrigerator works. What temperature is the refrigerator on? Was the spaghetti in an airtight container? So many different factors play into when a food goes bad, especially after it's been cooked. I mean, 3 days in, spaghetti noodles are rubbery. Like, they get rubbery. When I make pasta, by the 3rd day, if it's not gone, it's going out. Unfortunately, like, oh, that's food waste. It's not good anymore. It's just not. Mixed spaghetti, That's bad. If this was a restaurant, she could get sued. I understand OP feeling bad for hurting her feelings, sure, but like, babes, you don't give people 6-day-old food without their consent, mind you. That makes me think of that, what was it? Cheapskates show on TLC. If anybody knows this, the Cheapskates show on TLC, there was this guy, and not just this guy, like all of the cheapskates, for some reason, they would always do something buck wild with food. This guy, he got lobster out of the garbage and gave it to these people. And they're eating it at the cooking class. They're eating it and they're like, okay, it's nice. And he was like, well, how would you guys like to know? I got that out of the trash. And everybody just kind of looked. And then you had them like taken off to the side and they were like, well, what do you think about today's cooking class? And they were like, I didn't expect him to say that he got it from the trash. I'm surprised none of those people sued him and TLC and the people who created the Cheapskate show, because why the hell would you let me eat some lobster that you know came out the garbage? Disrespectful. Disrespectful. This ain't right. This is not right. OP is not the a-hole. I'm surprised OP didn't snap the hell out and be like, is you trying to kill me? Like, you trying to poison me. This is wrong. Girl, please. Ew. I don't like that. Okay, this is a would I be the a-hole if I say something to an employee who wants me to close my business for her wedding? Is the wedding at the business? Okay, I want to say, let's say OP isn't the a-hole for this one. Okay, let's see. So, my manager is getting married to her sweetheart in about a month and a half. I should have known this was a manager situation. Okay, we have a small company with only a few employees, and I just got an email requesting we close our doors completely on a Saturday, usually our highest sales day, so that she can invite her other coworkers. Everyone but me. Okay. She's been my manager for years. We talk several times a week, text, etc. We've been through some tough situations. I've mentored her, helped her out when she needed it, written letters of recommendation for her place to rent, and basically been pretty close with her. I didn't expect to be invited to her wedding, but thought maybe I would be since we are so close. I certainly didn't expect everyone to be invited but me. That threw me. Getting that email really brought up some feelings for me. It felt really insensitive to invite everyone but me, including past employees of mine. It also feels really selfish for her to think that we could close our doors completely on a busy day that literally pays their paychecks. We have been struggling so hard as a small business to make it for the last year. So much so that I can't even take a paycheck and have been working 40 hours a week without pay. I don't know what to do or say, and I could really use some advice. I haven't said anything yet, but I feel like I should explain how tone deaf her request is. Am I wrong if I do? Okay, a lot of weird things going on here. Okay, so for one thing, this is a struggling business. And OP is running the business. It's a small business. But the manager sends an email to the owner, I believe OP is the owner, and says, hey, can you like shut down on your busiest day even though you are struggling as a business and you need that money so that I can invite all of your workers except you to come to my wedding? That's weird. That is tone deaf. I feel like even if you don't get down with the manager, not the manager, even if you don't get down with the boss like that, even if you're going to make a request like that, I do believe that you should invite them. Even if you don't like them. Because, now, I mean, am I a big fan of people inviting people that you don't like to events that are personal to you? No, I don't necessarily believe that that's a good thing. At the same time, if it's the type of situation where all the people that you want to invite work at the same place and have to be there at the same day and you want to make this happen, you can't change the date of your wedding, but you want all of these people to be here, I do believe you might want to kind of like take a step and be like, okay, well, let me just invite this individual so that they can also be here. So they're also getting something out of this experience. But like, that's kind of bold though, to like send an email and be like, oh, like let all of your employees butt your ass to come to my wedding. Like you don't come, let everybody else come. That's weird. That's really weird. It might also come off as like kind of passive aggressive as well. I guess maybe she just wasn't thinking about it. Okay, here's another one. Update.
Spoke with her and have decided to do 3 plus me skeleton crew to work. She will be working out who will stay/go, and I'll remain helping in the background as best I can. Also closing, giving the option to close 2 hours early so the rest can make the reception portion if they want. If they choose to stay and work, I'll remain open. Decided to prioritize employee morale over negativity or spite. Swept all feelings aside. Thank you all for your opinions, advice, help, and good wishes towards my business going better. Appreciate it very much. Okay, OP seems to be, well regulated. At the same time, it's just kind of like, that's a weird position to be put into. And crazily enough, like, I do believe that the manager was like hella selfish with that. Because it's like, I understand this is your wedding, but you want these people there. And how close are you with all of these employees? How close are you with these people? That you have to have it to where everybody, like, it's kind of crazy to expect for the entire store to be shut when everybody has to get paid. I do not understand that. I don't believe that OP is the a-hole. No. I do believe that OP was definitely the bigger person and was like, you know what? Let's just figure it out. Because you don't want to start a freaking war zone at your job. That was weird. That's really weird behavior, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't like that at all. The manager's kind of a couple issues, I think. Like, that's kind of weird. And I'm fully aware that, like, oh, OP could be explaining this weirdly. Yeah, sure. But it's just like, from what information I've been given, it does seem like there's a bit of a situation happening here where the manager is really not thinking about anybody else but what she has going on. And that is selfish. That is quite selfish. That's buck wild, honestly. I'm brain just stopped working for 5 seconds. I don't know what that was. Okay, thank you for watching. I had fun. We're definitely gonna have to do this more often because I need more time to just like detox and like look at something that doesn't make any sense for a while. Just be kind of goofy and have fun and laugh, or just talk about things that don't necessarily affect me directly. I feel like I'm very serious a lot. Oddly enough, like, I'm always thinking about something intense, and I feel like that's just like the place that I'm in right now. I'm just really reflecting about a lot of things, and that takes a lot of seriousness. But we need to have a little bit of fun. Everything's happening, like the world's on fire. Bad things are happening. We need to do something to help lift our spirits a little bit, or else we're all just gonna cave in. So, welcome, and I hope you come back. All right, we're gonna go. Or I'm gonna go. Why am I always saying we? It ain't nobody here but you and me. But it's just me, technically. I'm in an empty room. There's nobody here but me. Good night.